Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my FIFA 13 team tutorials. And as you can see on the screen, today's tutorial is going to be a Juventus one. Now, Juve are an absolutely fantastic side, but before I get into the team, I just want to tell you a little bit about the match I'm using to show you how to play with them. Now, this was a game from Seasons mode, but it was from the Cup, because obviously the Cup window was opened fairly recently on PS3, so I've had a couple of Cup games, and this was one of them. And this game in particular is very, very interesting because the connection was absolutely horrendous, and I actually I think it was 2-0 down very, very early on and battled back to win. I know, spoiler alert, apologies. But, this just goes to show how effective Juve are, not only at, dominating teams, but also getting back into games when you've had a really, really bad start. So let's get straight in and talk about the teams. Now, the first person I'm going to talk about is Gianluigi Buffon. Now, Buffon is a very, very solid keeper. He has 87 overall rating, which obviously is fantastic. And like I've mentioned in previous tutorials, his kicking stat is actually very, very low, which is fantastic. And probably should have scored right there, but never mind. He only has 66 kicking, so the vast majority of his stats are in the important shot-stopping attributes, and that's really what you want as the goalkeeper. So you've got 90 diving, 90 positioning, and 84 reflexes, and that is very, very useful. The only problem with him is that he has 80 handling, and you'll see for a goal I conceded in a minute, when he basically flopped a shot that went straight at him back into the pitch, and it gets tapped back into an empty net. Now, that can be a problem sometimes, but as long as you bear that in mind, there's going to be no worries with him. He's a very, very solid keeper. So let's move away from Buffon. Let's move into the back three. And obviously, I'm playing a 3-5-2. Now, the one thing I do need to quickly mention is I'm not playing the 3-5-2 they use as default, because that formation has Pirlo as a solitary holding midfielder and then has a flat line of 4 in midfield for the rest of them. And like the defence is slightly weirdly positioned as well. So what I've done is I've basically switched it to the default 3-5-2 formation. So that's just one thing I wanted to quickly mention before I forgot that. But let's move into the defence. So starting up with Barzagli. Barzagli is a very, very good centre-back. 85 rated, and he has exceptional key stats. Now, he has 85 jumping, 90 interceptions, 88 marking, 86 slide tackle, and 90 stand tackle. And by anyone's estimations, those are really, really tremendous stats for a centre-back. So that's excellent. The one thing you do have to worry about is that pretty much none of the back four are particularly quick. Back three, sorry, are particularly quick. I think the fastest player in that back three is Chiellini, who has 79 sprint speed. So you do have to be a little bit careful when playing in this formation about being caught on the breakdown, the channels or the flanks, because if you get a centre-back pulled out of position, it's going to take them quite a long time to get back into position because of their lack of speed. So what I always do is play on defensive with Juve, and I do this with most of my teams, but this is absolutely 100% vital, and this is the goal I'm talking about. See, that's where Buffon's lack of handling can really trouble you, because that shot was straight at him there. Anyone with reasonable handling could have caught that shot and I wouldn't have conceded, but because he has relatively low handling for a top class keeper, he flops it straight to Benzema, who has an easy tap in, and suddenly I'm 2-0 down. But don't worry, I'll come back and win this game, I assure you. Now, like I've been mentioning, got to be a little bit careful about the lack of pace, and this lack of pace is continued into the middle of the back three, where I'm playing Chiellini. Now, Chiellini, once again, he's another tremendous player. He has 90 stand tackle, 86 slide tackle, 90 marking, and 93 jumping. That is absolutely tremendous. He also has 87 strength as well, so he won't get bullied by many strikers at all, which is always a very, very important thing. The one thing you do have to be a little bit wary of is, even though he has like that very, very high jumping stat, he has something like 78, 79 heading accuracy. So you do need to be a little bit wary. Yes, he will win headers, but he'll often head them to areas where you don't really want them to go. So that's the thing you do have to be a little bit wary of. But the rest of his stats are tremendous. I like to play him in the middle because he is the quickest of the three players I'm playing at the back. So he can offer you a little bit of cover. And he's very, very solid to play in the middle. So that's the middle. Let's move across to the other side of the back three, where I'm playing Bonucci. Now, Bonucci, once again, he only has 73 sprint speed. It's not absolutely tremendous, and spoiler alert, I think I missed this penalty here, so don't worry about that. Like I've been mentioning, Bonucci, he's not the fastest. He only has 73 sprint speed, but the rest of his stats are very, very balanced. 81 strength again, pretty solid. 84 heading, 84 slide tackling, and 80 stand tackling. So he's not as proficient as the other defenders, but to be honest, Bonucci and Chiellini are two of the better defenders in FIFA. So to have a team with another quality centre-back, you don't often see too many teams who have that. Or if they do, they have a full-back that you want to get in. So for example, Bayern Munich. Your Bayern Munich have 3 reasonable centre-backs, but you really don't want to leave Philippe Lahm out of the team. Philippe Lahm is absolutely tremendous. So this is an ideal opportunity to use 3-5-2 with a team, and another reason is because they have an absolute wealth of tremendous central midfielders. So the first central midfielder I'm going to talk about is Andrea Pirlo, and Pirlo is just exceptional. He has 94 vision, 94 ball control, 95 long passing, 93 short passing, 87 curve. I mean, what more do you need to be told? Those are absolutely awesome stats. And the good thing is as well, he has low medium work rate, so he has low attacking work rate and medium defensive work rate, so he spends most of the time just pootling around in the middle of the field, and this is exactly what you want him to do. You want him to be in space, so when you give him the ball, he can just spray the passes, he can control the play. Every good bit of play you have will go through Andrea Pirlo. He really is that vital to your team, and he's absolutely tremendous. The one problem with him is, like I mentioned, the legs aren't as young as they used to be. They might be able to hit 55 passes and hit a 2p coin across the map, but they won't be able to run around as fast as they used to, and that's why I've gone for Arturo Vidal alongside him. Now, some people like to play Arturo Vidal as the central attacking midfielder, but like I mentioned, because Pirlo's doesn't really have that dynamism anymore, you really want someone alongside him who can be the engine room, and Vidal is definitely that. He has 93 stamina, absolutely fantastic, 88 aggression, so he'll put those tackles in, 88 slide tackling, 86 stand tackling, so immediately he's a guy who's much more robust. He'll run around a lot more and he'll put those tackles in where Pirlo doesn't really want to. But in addition to this, he's not just a one-trick pony. He has 84 dribbling, 86 ball control, 85 short passing. Those are very, very good attacking attributes. So not only is Vidal that guy who can put a shift in and put a challenge in, if he does win the ball back, he doesn't just have to play it short. He can play those passes, he can go on a run. He's very, very good, and that high work rate he has is exceptionally useful to counter that slightly lethargic Pirlo style. So he's a very, very good player. Let's move on to the wingers. Now, the first winger I've got on the right wing is Lichtsteiner. Now, the problem with Juve is they don't really have a lot of flat-out pace. They've got a lot of workhorses, people who have high stamina and will run around, but they don't really have that blistering pace. And this is the same with Lichtsteiner. He only has 83 sprint speed, which is not quick for a winger by any stretch of the imagination. You see plenty of wingers with mid-90s pace. The Walcotts, the Lennons, the Riebers, the Robins of this world. Very, very quick wingers. So that's one thing you do have to be aware of. However, Lichtsteiner has several other strengths. Like I mentioned, he's another one of those workhorses. He has 91 stamina, he has high attacking work rate and medium defensive work rate. So he will get up and down the wing all game. From minute 1 to minute 90, he'll put that shift in. And the great thing is, as well, he has decent technical stats. So he has 85 crossing, which is very, very useful. If the ball drops to him in space, he can run a bit, put the ball in, and you can put the ball on the head of Vucinic in the middle, who we'll get to a bit later, or you can pull it back to the edge of the area from Marquisio or whatever. And the good thing about him as well, he has reasonable tackling attributes. So he has 84 tackling. And this goal's pretty hilarious. Now, that was definitely a lag-induced goal there. Chipped it over. And seriously, for some parts of this game, it was about half a second behind. So what that guy's obviously done is tried to run back towards the goal. He's hit square to clear it, and the computers assume that he wants to hit the ball square towards the goal, so he just poots it in. But thoroughly deserved that goal anyway. It was a nice little move. But yeah, Lichtsteiner, very, very useful midfield. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but as long as you can keep running him back, putting that challenge in, he really does a good job for you. So I like Lichtsteiner a lot. He's not a traditional winger, but he's very, very effective at what he does. And, Asamoah on the other side of the pitch definitely falls into this mould as well. He's not blisteringly quick, but again, he has high stamina. He has 87 stamina. He has high work rates this time. So he'll be up and down the pitch even more effectively than Lichtsteiner will. So you've got two wingers here who are prepared to put a shift in, definitely. Asamoah is also a little bit stronger than Lichtsteiner. So Lichtsteiner's a bit quicker, Asamoah is a bit stronger with 83 strength. He also has 88 shot power, and you'll see this come into use a bit later when he scores an absolute barnstormer for me. But, great shot power. He has 79 crossing as well, which, still very, very usable. And both of his tackling attributes are over 80. So you've got two wingers who are reasonably pacey, not rapid by any stretch of the imagination, though. Can put that shift in, can put challenges in, and will work hard all through the game. So two very, very utility-based wingers who can do whatever you want practically. So very, very good there. Let's move up the midfield to a central attacking midfielder in Claudio Marchisio. Now, when I did my Spurs tutorial a couple of days ago, I was talking about, Jermaine Defoe playing more of a central forward role. So all I was looking to do in that team is get the ball wide, put crosses into Adebayor, and let Defoe feed off the scraps because of his great finishing attributes. Marchisio is definitely a traditional central attacking midfielder. Like I mentioned before, when you have a central attacking midfielder, you want them to have those absolutely razor-sharp ball control, passing, vision stats, and Marchisio ticks every single box there. Once again, though, he has 87 stamina, so everyone in this team has high stamina. It's absolutely fantastic. This is a team that plays so well in the last 10-15 minutes of a game, because most of the time you ground your opponent down there, have a couple of players who are tired, and every single player in this team can exploit that. It really is tremendous, and I love playing for Juve for this reason. They're so utilitarian. They can do anything, any stage of the game. They really are very, very useful. But once again, Marchisio has so many more strings to his bow than just good legs. He has 85 vision, 86 ball control, 84 dribbling, 87 short passing. Now that is absolutely fantastic. He also has high work rates, so occasionally he runs a bit deep in defence, but pretty much everyone in this team has high work rates. So if he drops deep, Vidal will push forward. Or if Marchisio decides to stay, Vidal will run back and put the tackle in. Or Lichtsteiner will go bombing up the field. Or Asamoah will come in and fill space. Everyone in this team will run around, switch positions. It really is very, very useful indeed. And the great thing about Marchisio as well is he has 80 tackling. So you've got a central attacking midfield player with all of the glorious stats you want in the attacking role, who can also put a tackle in. So there's several times I've played with Juventus and Marchisio just toes the ball away from a midfielder, gets it under control in a split second, and then plays a great ball through, or has a shot, or does something fantastic. I really do enjoy playing with Marchisio. He's a very, very good player, and he's one of the reasons why I like Italy so much as well. Because that Pirlo, Marchisio, De Rossi combo midfield is just as good as the Vidal combo we've got here. So that's Marchisio. Let's move up into the strikers. Now, I've decided to go for Giovinco as a striker. Now, in the default setup, Quagliarella starts as a striker, and the reason why I haven't picked him is because, in my opinion, he seems like he's just a slightly worse version of Mirko Vucinic. Now, like I've mentioned already, this Juve team isn't the fastest, and if you go for two relatively slow strikers up front, you're not going to have the variety of options that you can get with other teams. So this is why I definitely like playing with Giovinco, because he gives you some speed, he gives you the running into channels to stretch defences, and really gives your midfielders a lot more space to work with. And this is something you definitely need, because his 93 acceleration, 89 sprint speed can really stretch defenders. But he's not just a one-trick pony, he does have other attributes as well. Once again, he has 88 ball control, 93 agility, 95 balance, 90 dribbling, 81 short passing as well. These are very, very good attributes. He can stretch that defence, but when he gets on the ball, he's not just going to poot it out of play. He can check inside, he can beat players, he can turn very, very quickly. He's just a great all-round player. So I definitely like playing him because he offers you something different that the rest of the team doesn't, and this is something you always need to focus on when you're building a team in FIFA. That variety of attack will bail you out so many situations, and I really do enjoy having that extra option on attack, and Giovinco certainly gives you that. So finally, let's move on to Mirko Vucinic. Now, Vucinic is another player I'm very, very fond of in FIFA, because he's one of the few strikers in the game who actually has technical attributes to act as a central attacking midfield. I mean, you look at this, he has 85 vision, 90 ball control, 87 short passing, and 86 dribbling. That is absolutely fantastic. But in addition to this, he has 84 long shots, 84 shot power, 80 finishing. These really are unbelievable stats, and By talking about these stats as well, it sort of allows me to round up on Juve. Whenever you play as Juve, what you're looking to do is pass. Because like I mentioned, you don't have the raw pace on the wings, you don't have an out-and-out target man up front, you don't have blisteringly quick, deadly finishing strikers where you can just play a nice little through ball and he just runs onto it and plunges it into the top corner. That doesn't happen with Juve. If you can get all of your players involved in the attack, pass, move, try and pull your opponent apart and then try and slot a through ball through, they are just absolutely incredible because they've got such a solid defence. Their midfield is just unbelievable. The only weakness they have is that they don't have many players. I don't think, in fact, any players with 4-star skills in this team. So if you are a team or a player who likes to skill a lot, perhaps Juve's a team to avoid. But if you like to pass and move, if you like to tear teams apart through lovely football, I can't think of a better team than Juve to use. They really are so fun to play with because they require you to play in a style that many teams can't do. Playing with and winning with Juve is so satisfying because if you do that, you know that you've spent time passing, moving, shooting from long distance and scoring screamers like that, really tearing teams apart through a variety of different styles. And I really do enjoy playing with Juventus, and I heartily recommend you guys trying them out because they're a little bit of an unfashionable 5-star team, like I mentioned before. So many players just immediately gravitate to the Real Madrids or the Chelseas, those 5-star teams which are easy to play with. But if you can play with Juve, use them to their strengths, just bear their weaknesses in mind, you will have so much fun and you will win so many games. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Really hope you've enjoyed the tutorial. The gameplay in the background was pretty interesting as well. So guys, once again, thank you for watching and have a great day.